So obviously the FIBA U19 has finished up with the USA once again taking home gold. Shout out to my guys bringing it home. Really fun tournament, but there's a lot of great prospects in this tournament, right? From the players that were on Australia, Canada, Germany, just to name a few. And obviously one we are watching very closely was incoming Israeli point guard Omer Mayer, who's going to be playing at Purdue next season, who is looking like he might be one of the best, maybe the best international freshman that's coming over in this 2025 class. Now, there's some other good prospects in there, don't get me wrong, but I think Omer's definitely going to be in the fold for that. So, the good folks over at CBS Sports, they came out with like a winners and losers thing about the under 19 tournament. Obviously, Meyer was one of the winners of the tournament, right? He averaged
Yes, he
20
was.
points, fourth, I think, what is it? 4 assists, 38% three-point shooting for Israel. But there was a funny little comparison that they did here that I want to point out. They did a player A, player B scenario. Now, player A averaged 19 points a game, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, just under 2 steals, almost 4.5 turnovers a game, and shot 32% from three, rounding up and rounding down with that. While player B 18 points, 4 assists, almost 5 rebounds a game, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, almost 45% from three. Now, player A in this scenario was Kasparas Jakucionis, the freshman who played last season at Illinois, had a really good freshman season before becoming the number 20 overall pick in the draft. He was all Big Ten. He was really good in that U18 tournament is what he played
Mhm.
in. Those were the stats for the U18 Euro Championship compared to Omer Mayer's stats. Ralph, I'll throw it to you first because I have some thoughts on, I guess, necessarily comparing these two in general and then comparing the actual stat lines.
Comparing the two is interesting because to me, this is like a hey, European point guard in the Big Ten.
Hmm.
They both played well, right? I think the games are different and the stats tell you some of that. I think Mayer is more of a scorer than Yakushonis is. Like Yakushonis is more of a point guard. And the issues that plagued him last year at Illinois, the issues that made him say made him number 20. Like you're still a top 20 draft pick, but ones I was talking about as a lottery pick, were the turnovers and the lack of consistent 3-point shooting. Like those are the holes in his game that he's got to improve on. Those aren't there. Those aren't there with Meyer. Like he's an elite 3-point shooter. He doesn't have the ball in his hands as much, but he's not the turnover machine that Yakushonis can be at times. I think he's got a much more trustworthy game. And if I'm a Purdue fan, I'm coming out of this incredibly excited because I think you got somebody who is going to fit your system pretty well, but also I think could potentially have the same kind of impact as Yakushonis, if not a little bit better.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison just for a few reasons. One, Mayer's obviously shorter than Yakashonis by a couple inches, right? And I'm looking at these player A, player B stats, right? And like if we're doing a game where you're like, which player do you want? I think I'm easily taking player B, which would be Mayer in this case, right?
Right.
And if Yakashonis is the number 20 overall pick in the draft, all Big Ten, obviously it could be a little bit different, but I think there's a lot more things working in Mayer's kind of camp here because
Mhm.
I think he's a better 3-point shooter. I think given what his role will be next season, one of the things that plagued Yakashonis was he was a little bit on the slower side, which I'm not saying Mayer's faster, but also he was such a high usage player. Like he was the point guard day one. I think like he had one of the highest, usage rates, turnover percentage, turnovers in general. I think obviously Omer's going to have the ability to play with Braden Smith, play with other guys where maybe he's not necessarily put in that mold with the high usage, and maybe that usage goes up into the next season, and then you got to worry about things like turnovers and you know Mayer doesn't necessarily get to the rim that much. He's just more of a 3-point shooter at this point, but elite 3-point shooter, obviously, given and takes
Mhm.
tough ones. He loves that little left hand rhythm dribble and then da da pull up for three. He's got that in his game. It was just interesting to me that they compared these two players because on the surface level you're like, okay, yeah, Kasparas was a impactful player in the Big Ten,
Yeah.
really good player, all Big Ten. If if Omer's that, then I think Purdue's ecstatic. But also, Yakushonis, I feel like had a lot of Illinois fans in a tizzy and hell mentally, given his play. So I guess by making this comparison, is this something that Purdue fans should be looking at like, oh, this is good for Purdue?
This video is brought to you by NBA 2KLab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
Yes, in the context that I think the comparison was made, right? Because I think you bring up some good points. And I don't mean to turn this into like us bashing Yakushonis, because I don't mean that at all. He's a top 20 pick. He's a very good player. Illinois' best player last season for a very good Illinois team. I'm not trying to bash him.
Hmm.
His game, though, was very much like if he didn't have the ball in his hands as point guard, he was not really a factor for Illinois. And that's just the byproduct of his game. And Illinois built their system around that. Omer's not that way. He can have an impact on or off the ball. I think he's a little bit better defensively, or at least has been to this point. Obviously, the size helped Jakucionis in college. We'll see how Omer does because he's a little bit shorter, if that comes back to impact him at all. Better shooter. But the comparison is made from a really good European player who starred for their team in this tournament and then goes to the Big Ten and does well. And so, like, with that, knowing that that's what the comparison is being made off of, yeah, I feel great. Like, I'd want a Yakushonis level impact on my team, particularly one who fits our system a little bit better, who can play on or off the ball, can do all the things that Omer's shown he can do. I left that tournament and watching, feeling very excited about what Purdue can be. And I know Purdue fans are more excited than I am, and they should be.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great for Purdue. I think these are the if he's being compared to a player that was all Big Ten and a top 20 draft pick, I think that Omer can definitely be on that path. And I think given his role and what it's going to be for Purdue next season, a lot of the concerns that came up with Yakushonis, I think will be just fine in Purdue's case. And also like not to even overthink this like put a Kasparas level player on Purdue, the team's nasty, right? Like Kasparas was a really
Yes.
good player. Like that's
Yeah.
he ain't getting compared to like these lowly Big Ten point guards. Like this is the company that he's in. Like one of the elite freshmen that came over from international waters last season. So like if you're a Purdue fan, you got an embarrassment of riches, which is maybe why Paint just wants to be all mean about people tampering with his players.
I think too, it's important to remember what happened 2 years ago when Purdue made the national title game. Like, yes, that was the Zach 80 year, but what Lance Jones brought to that team as a secondary ball handler, as a 3-point shooter, next to Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer in that backcourt. Right. I don't know, I don't know if they're going to have the Zach Edey type figure down low, or if the combination of that big man trio they have is going to produce those kind of numbers. But I do think you're looking at this, and Omer can certainly provide the shooting that Lance Jones did. We'll see about the defense, but the ball handling and the shooting, you're getting that aspect, from Omer. And so I think it just helps elevate the ceiling of what Purdue could be.
Yeah, I think he obviously doesn't have the defensive acumen of
No.
Lance Jones, like you pointed out, but offensively, I think he's miles ahead of him. And I think he could do some more things as far as like off ball handling and letting Braden and Flesh play off ball as well. So yeah, it's once again another day, another video of Purdue's embarrassment of riches. Payne did it again by getting this guy. A lot of good players in this tournament, and I think the fact that Omer is being compared to the likes of Kasparas Jakucionis, I think bodes really well for Purdue and maybe doesn't bode as well for the country of the Big Ten, but excited to see what he looks like with Purdue and see, once he gets over on campus, everything gets settled with his coming over. It'll be a very, very, very fun to watch him with Purdue this season.